another episode of Ganer Cooks. Today is a little warmer outside, so we're going to be making Vietnamese Summer Rolls. This is a super easy recipe to make with some really fresh, delicious ingredients, and it's the perfect thing for you to have on a warm day. The ingredients that we're going to be needing for this, we need some rice paper. We're going to wrap our summer rolls in some rice paper. And the fresh ingredients that we're going to be going with are going to be basil, cilantro, avocado, and we're also going to be adding some carrots, and we're going to lightly pickle those carrots, and it's going to add a really nice fresh taste to our summer rolls. We're going to use some rice sticks or some other kind of rice noodle. Vermicelli noodles will work just great. Whatever you have available to you at the store. And next up we need a protein. We're going to be going with Gulf shrimp, and that's a very traditional protein to add to the summer rolls, but you can use substitute tofu if you're going to be trying to make this a vegan meal. We're also going to need some ingredients in order to pickle our carrots with. We're going to be going with an unseasoned rice vinegar, some Sriracha, and we're also going to need some fish sauce. If you're vegan, you can absolutely substitute out or replace the fish sauce, but we're going to use fish sauce in our meal. Next up, I'm going to describe the equipment that we're going to be using for this. You're going to need some kind of pot of water, boiling water, in order to boil our shrimp with. And you're also going to need a dish or something that's about 2 at least inches deep, that's wide enough for us to put our rice paper in to prepare our rice paper right before we are adding it on and creating our summer rolls. She's such a goof. She smells the shrimp, I bet. Alright, so the first step we're going to have in making these summer rolls, I'm going to pickle our carrots. While I'm pickling these carrots, I also have the water getting ready to boil for the shrimp. Now that our water is really close to boiling, I'm going to explain what we're going to do next with these shrimp. These are Gulf shrimp. They're frozen, but they're pretty big shrimp. So I'm going to wind up cutting them in half. We use about 3 pieces of shrimp per spring roll that we're going to be using. So I'm going to have 9 shrimp that I'm going to boil, and that's going to wind up creating 6 rolls. I'm also going to add a little bit of fish sauce to this water to give it a little bit of a saltiness to it and a little bit of extra the seafood kind of flavor. You don't need to add fish sauce to yours at all. In fact, adding to the water some salt or some soy sauce will taste just great, but we do want to salt the water just a little bit as the shrimp are getting added to it. Okay, now our water is hot enough. I'm going to start adding our shrimp. Perfect. These are going to cook down. Shrimp are generally, when they're in a bag and they're raw, they're going to be a little bit translucent looking. We're going to cook these or boil these for long enough for the shrimp to become pink, and then they should be perfectly cooked. Once these shrimp turn pink, I'm going to remove the shrimp with a spoon and let them cool down. And then we're going to take the exact same boiling water and we're going to throw our rice sticks into there, and we're going to cook those down for just a few seconds. Okay, you can see here that our shrimp is starting to get pink and they're starting to shrink in the shells here. We're looking for that pinkness to signal that our shrimp has been cooked. We're going to let these shrimp cool down a bit. In a moment, we're going to peel them and put them in the refrigerator. But for now, I'm going to add these rice sticks into the same pot of boiling water that we had our shrimp in. These rice sticks are not like traditional noodles where you have to cook them through for like 9 minutes or so. We're just going to throw them in for a second. They are going to start rising up in about 30 seconds or so. We just want to make sure that they've cooked through a bit. And once they start bubbling up, these are so close to getting taken out of this water and putting them into a strainer. We don't want to overcook them or else they're going to turn into mush. So literally that's how long we're going to wait. We're going to add this, dump this out into our strainer. And I don't like to do this for a lot of other noodles. I don't like to wash them in cold water, but because we want these noodles to... That's funny. But because we eventually want these noodles to be cold, so once we're going to taste them for doneness. This looks kind of crazy, I know. I think we cooked these really perfectly. They're not mushy, but they're not too al dente. While I'm trying out my rice noodles, I want to say thanks to everybody who's been posting their photos of them cooking. It really brings me a ton of joy to see what y'all are making. I hope your family's enjoying the recipes that we're putting together. And if you have any questions about any of the recipes we've tried, if something didn't quite taste right, just shoot me a message and I'd be happy to talk to you through how to make it better the next time if it's something you want to make again. Now that these shrimp have cooled to the touch, I'll talk you through peeling them. I like to start at the top. I pull these little legs and then I unwrap it, and see, that's the perfect fleshy thing here. Just grab by the legs, pull around, and then whenever you get to the bottom part of the tail, pinch the end here, give it a nice firm grip and pinch it, and then we are going to simply move out the last little bit of the meat from the bottom of the tail. This is going to have the, this is the kind of intestine of or the stomach, I guess, or this is kind of the gross part, whatever, of the shrimp. I'm going to pull this off and I'm going to clean that out just a little bit. A lot of times folks will just leave that in there, and I think that's more than fine. It's absolutely edible. Now that our shrimp and our noodles have cooked all the way through, we're going to let them cool on the side for a little bit. And now I'm going to chop up the herbs that we're going to be stuffing our summer rolls with. This is really simple. I'm just going to be taking our basil and our cilantro and just kind of loosely chopping everything up. This recipe would go really great if we had mint or something like that. Unfortunately, we don't have that this time around. We're just going to chop up these herbs. You don't want super tiny, so you don't want to mince them. You want them to have enough of a leaf that people can bite into, like so. Then I'm going to mix them all together. And I'm going to add a little bit of lime juice. This is optional, you don't need to, but I think it opens up the flavors. I'm going to add a little bit of lime juice to our herbs, mix them together, and then we're going to have these on the side waiting for our summer roll assembly. Now we've got our herbs chopped up and ready to go. Our shrimp have cooled down, as has our rice sticks. We're going to prepare the shrimp by cutting them in half. We're just going to basically bifurcate the shrimp here like this to spread them out. I'm going to squeeze the shrimp with my thumb and index finger in order to create a little bit more surface area for me to cut the shrimp down. There we go. I've halved the shrimp about like that. So the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut up my avocado. I want to wait till the end for this one because I don't want my avocado to brown. All you have to do is we're going to cut it in half, work around, there's a pit in this avocado. We're going to work around that, and then I'm going to pull it apart about like this. As we open it up, we have two halves of the avocado, and there's this pit in here, and I learned a trick, and you can take the knife, and you're going to carefully hit the top of the pit, twist, and guess what? Your pit comes right out like that. So now we have two even avocado halves, and I'm going to thinly slice these avocado halves. One secret here is I'm going to leave these avocado halves in the skin here, and I'm going to thinly slice the avocado. I have our spoon ready to go, and I'm going to just scoop out slices of avocado, and look at how perfect they are. We're going to cover this up in a little bit of lime juice. You can also use lemon juice, and that's going to prevent them from browning just long enough for us to make our summer rolls. Now we're ready for assembly. This is going to be the fun part. We're going to take our rice paper and we're gonna drop it into our pie dish filled with water. We're only gonna leave it in there for a couple of seconds. You don't want to overdo it. And that, we're gonna flip it over now for 2 more seconds on the other side. So 2 seconds on either side. Then we're gonna take it out and we're gonna lay it here. This is gonna have some bend to it, but if you stick it on more than that, the integrity of your rice paper is gonna start to get really mushy and fall apart and be hard to work with. The first things I'm going to add here are my shrimp. I'm going to put them into 3 little C's like that, and that's going to be the base. We're putting it on this side because we're going to roll it this way up. The next thing I'm going to add is about a handful of our rice noodles, followed by one of our avocado slices. Then I'm going to put on about this much of our basil and cilantro. And I'm going to top it all off with some of our pickled carrots. This smells so good. I might put another one. Yeah, look at how pretty that looks. I'm going to take it from this side here and I'm going to fold it over that part of the roll. Then from the bottom, I'm going to roll this up. Oh, this one looks great. And look at how perfect that summer roll looks. I killed it. Okay, so feel free to experiment with the amount of stuff you're putting it in and the order that you're putting it in to make it the way that you want it to look and the amount of food you want in that roll itself. If you were making this for a party or something like that, you might want the rolls to look really consistent, but guess what? None of us are partying with anybody right now, so feel free to stuff it with as much food as the amount of rice paper will actually take. With that, we're going to be serving this with some peanut sauce. There are recipes all over the internet for you to make your own peanut sauce with peanut butter and a few other ingredients, but we are fortunate enough to have some peanut sauce lying around, and this stuff is perfect to dip in that peanut sauce. Well, there you have it, folks. That's our Vietnamese summer roll recipe. This is the perfect kind of thing for you to make and eat outside. It's really important that everybody is staying home, and that's exactly what we're gonna do. But you wanna make sure that you're finding things that bring you peace and that make you feel good and bring you connected to people. And this is just a little something that we can do to stay connected. Stay home and stay healthy and stay well fed.
Then dig in.
So good.